Christmas is coming and it's time for wine indulgences in the midst of family, friends, and even strangers. Now, I often have people and friends asking me, how many calories are there in a glass of wine? And are there any kind of wines that have fewer calories than the others? Now, a glass of wine, by and large, a small to moderate sized glass, would have anywhere between 90 to 120 calories, like this one. But if it's a much larger portion of wine in a big bowl, like this one, for example, it would have anywhere almost up to 140 calories a glass. Now, before we deep dive into the kind of wines that may have fewer calories than the others, it's important to understand what contributes to calories in a wine. There are two components. One is sugar and the other is alcohol. Sugar typically comes from unfermented sugars that are left in a wine at the end of its fermentation process. And alcohol itself comes from the fermentation process. So really what you're looking for is dry wines with slightly lower alcohol levels. Here are 5 tips on wines that you could be drinking, giving you far lesser calories as opposed to the other wines. Tip 1. Think cooler climates. Grapes that grow in cooler climates generally tend to accumulate less sugars and so result in much lower alcohols at the end of the fermentation. So for example, this Pouilly-Fumé, which comes from the Loire Valley of France, which is a much cooler region, has only about 12.5% alcohol as opposed to this wine, which is from the much warmer climates of California at 14.5%. So there you go, that's 2% alcohol saved there. Think champagnes and Proseccos. Champagnes are always hovering at about 12.5% alcohol, much lower than the much richer, fuller bodied reds that can be almost 14.5%, 15% sometimes. If you look at a Prosecco, it's a great example. A Prosecco will have only 11.5% alcohol. Again, it's typical of its style and also because it's made in the cooler climates of Veneto in Italy. So 11.5% is so much better than 14.5% alcohol. Think of lighter red wine styles, a Pinot Noir from Burgundy, a Beaujolais Village from France. All of these wines, again, have much lower alcohol levels. This one, Georges de Boeuf, Beaujolais Village, has only 12.5%. This is a great style of red wine and actually complements your Christmas cuisine, turkey in particular, really beautifully. There are certain styles of wines that always have lower alcohol levels. A classic example of that is a German Riesling. This bottle of a Riesling from the Moselle Valley of Germany has only 11% alcohol by volume. Some other German Rieslings have even lower alcohols. Sometimes you're lucky enough to find 9.5%, 10%, 10.5%. These can be excellent options for low alcohol wines, thereby piling on fewer calories than others. Some other examples of low alcohol wines is a Muscadet from France or a Vinho Verde from Portugal. Try some of these. Tip 5 is to elevate our taste in wines. The reason I say this is because inexpensive entry-level wines, more often than not, tend to have a little bit of sugar added to them at the time of bottling just to bump up the fruitiness and the easy drinking sensation of the wine. So whilst these wines may be inexpensive and perfectly fruity to taste, it may end up costing you a lot more at the gym to burn off those extra calories. Now, I hope I haven't deterred you from your love for wines. Just remember, as long as we're drinking in moderation and enjoying wine responsibly, we're not going to have to worry about those extra calories. So you go grab your glass of favorite wine and subscribe to Sonal Holland Wine TV for wine edutainment every week. Oops, I need to watch my calories too. So let me try and grab the smaller glass. Cheers.